friends, good morning. How are you today? My name is Esther Adedoyin, and my husband and I usually come on Saturday on this platform to share with you things that we've discovered ourselves, we are learning, whatever you may call it. So for over maybe 13 weeks, 12 weeks, we've been looking at understanding life. And it's been a long topic. Each time we want to change the topic, we discover something new. So we say, no, let's continue. Because life is a wide topic. Life is a wide topic. Hello, June. How are you? Wawire Asinaf, how are you? Where are you watching from? Thanks for joining us. All right, June, I saw your review on Amazon. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we're going to continue to learn about life using scenarios of nature. I'm someone who is fascinated with nature. Can you hear me okay? I feel my volume is low. If the volume is okay, please let me know before I start. Okay, so understanding life, we are picking lessons from a tree. Okay, so I think I'm already late, so let me go on. The first lesson we'll pick from a tree is you have great potential. You have great potential. Because when you look at a tree, for example, an acorn, which contains the seed of an oak tree, when you look at it, you may despise it. When you see it on the ground, something doesn't look, too useful, it looks dry, you don't see that it can actually become a great oak. But come on, let it find fertile soil. You'll be amazed at what will take place. So it is with life, okay? In life, we should never despise anybody. As long as they have life in them, never despise them. Why? Because you don't know their potential, what they'll become in the future. And it so saddens me, especially in Africa. Recently, someone sent me a video. This happened in some part of Nigeria, where someone gave birth to a healthy baby boy and just dumped him in he put him in a polythene bag, black polythene bag, and left him in the bushes to die. This boy was meant to live, because as he cried and cried, that small voice, someone was passing by and heard a cry. And quickly people gathered around. Someone was brave enough to go and pick up the polythene bag, only to discover a beautiful baby boy. So I'll just say, someone's just despising this baby. You don't know what that baby will turn out in the future. So it is with life. We all have great potential. See each life as potential. When you pass someone on the train, that's why it's always good to respect each other. Because you never know in the future, you may need that person. So life is about respecting each other, knowing at the back of your mind that each life has great potential. And we learn that from trees. Another lesson, avoid the comfort zone. That safety place that you like to be in all the time. Avoid it. When this seed, wants to germinate, it will not say, oh, I can't die. I have to remain like where I am. I'm still beautiful. I can't become ugly. The seed has to die. That's the literal meaning. In order for it to germinate, it has to be planted in the soil to tolerate that dark, uncomfortable, uncertainty, environment. and eventually it has to bud and sprout. So it is with life. Okay, in life we should avoid those comfort zones because they prevent us from achieving greatness in life. If you find yourself relaxed, oh, I know everything. What? Look around on internet, try to learn a new skill. Okay? So life presents such moments, okay, when we need to endure as well, okay, in order to get the best. For example, the discipline of waking up early, that's avoiding the comfort zone. The discipline of studying and hours and hours of research in order to produce a product, that is coming out of your comfort zone. The discipline of fasting when it is required sometimes, to even the discipline of separating yourself from people and family just to be alone and have a personal retreat, with God, or with, evaluating your life. All that takes you coming out of your comfort zone. So if these things never existed, people will not push themselves to become better. So in order for us to achieve something and become something in life, we need to come out of our comfort zone. Just like any seed of a tree needs to die. It needs to tolerate, that dark environment, that uncertainty in the ground. And eventually it comes out. Hello, Medi Kaoya. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Okay. The next lesson we are learning is never be in a hurry to make decisions, in a hurry to achieve success, in a hurry to choose a life partner, in a hurry to whatever the case may be. The point is, never be in a hurry. Look at trees. Up to now, I was in Israel some time ago, and they showed us a tree that is almost 2,000 years old. It must have existed in the days of Jesus and is still alive today. It's still alive today. So, the 2,000-year-old tree and all its strength was achieved in 2,000 years. There's no shortcut. So growth and development in life takes time. So you should not avoid the due process. Shortcuts, those get-rich schemes we see around us. Okay. Never be in a hurry. There's a theory that states that practicing any skill in life for 10,000 hours is sufficient to make you an expert in that field. Ask any sports star. Ask maybe speakers and teachers. Ask anyone who is good, singers, anyone who is good in their skill. They'll tell you how many hours they have spent practicing the skill. So never be in a hurry to achieve something. Allow yourself to go through the due process. Okay? Because rushing the process is the enemy of excellence. So that's our third lesson. The fourth lesson is, hello Peter, thanks for joining us. Dear friends, please share on your timeline and allow other friends to join us and learn, and let us learn together. Feel free to also share with us what you've learned about trees, or what you're learning, or your thoughts about trees or nature in general. I'll appreciate that. Thank you. The fourth lesson is, trees teach us to have faith. Faith, as in believing that something will come out even when you don't see any evidence around you. The belief, the understanding that something is going on even when I don't have evidence. That's the definition of faith in this context. okay? Because when you put the seed in the ground, oh, it depends on type of seed and tree you're planting. Some trees take days to sprout, others take weeks, others take months. There are others that take years. Imagine. So if you're someone who's not patient, who can't have faith, you may have just gone and dug that place and you know what, I've given up. There's nothing going on here. So just because you don't see any signs around you doesn't mean that nothing is happening on the inside. Nothing is happening, you know, in the invisible world. Let me call it that way. Yeah. So have faith. Is it a venture you've started and you're saying no profit? Is it anything, maybe a project you've started and you're still struggling? Yeah, have faith. Okay? So, I know some seeds, some trees. Is it the palm trees? Palm trees in the deserts? I think those are the ones. Those trees, they can shoot up and stay in that same position, very small, for years without increasing in height. Guess what? They are having faith that if I first concentrate on developing my roots, I'll achieve any height I want. That is faith. So the fact that you don't see any growth, no increase, no nothing, no changes, doesn't mean that underneath the soil nothing is happening. You discover that that same tree is actually, I don't know how many depth down in there. It's developing its roots, making sure that it will be able to find moisture at any length down there. And once it's comfortable with the roots there, then it can start to shoot up. Okay? Have faith. So in life, let our priorities be to develop a value system in us, in our lives, that will uphold our lives. Because as my husband Sam and Paul spoke about this last time, they talk about roots representing values in life, things that guide us. Okay, things like, being a hardworking person, someone of integrity, someone who keeps time, punctuality, someone who is loving, friendliness, diligent, all those things. If you develop yourself in those things, there's no limit to what you can become. And that's the evidence that will come out. So the more you develop your roots, okay, the greater the capacity you get in becoming and achieving great things. So trees teach us to have faith. Number five lesson is know your purpose. Know your purpose. I'm going to have a sip, please. My voice was disappearing. Hello, David Sempala. Thanks for joining us. Okay, I don't see your comments. Please write some comments. Trees teach us to know our purpose. Because look at every tree. It looks so confident that it knows why it exists. It knows why it exists. Trees have learned a secret that everything that it gives will return to it. For example, the oxygen it gives out. Okay, we human beings take it in and release the carbon dioxide that it needs. Okay, so it's coming back to it. The sap, the fruits, even the leaves, maybe in form of food or medicine. Once they lose them or someone takes them, after some time, those things come back. So there's always replenishment. So it's not intimidated by giving because it knows, I have capacity to have more. So trees know their purpose. If its purpose is to give shade, to allow birds to come and put nets in it. Yeah, it spreads wide and provides those branches and leaves in order for the birds to be comfortable, in order for animals and people to have shed. You know, that is purpose. And you know what? We are at our best when we serve people. And purpose here is serving others. A tree knows its purpose, and that is to serve others. To serve people in form of giving shade, shelter, shade, whatever, food, timber, the sap, whatever functions we get from the tree. It has a purpose to serve humanity. And so must we. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my voice. Okay, right. And before I move on to another point, one point I want to make is that a tree that is not serving is a dead tree. And that is just to be cut down and maybe used as firewood. And that's all. So is life. Any life that is not serving others is actually dead. So this brings out an important point, that we live to serve others. That's the major purpose. So if you're a person and you haven't thought about this at all before, start to think about it. That life is not about you. It's about others. And that's how we live a fulfilled life. Try it and you tell me. Anyone who has served, who has done humanitarian jobs, who has done voluntary work, they come back refreshed, energized. Because when we are serving, we are at our best. It's natural. It's natural. So know your purpose. Number 6. And this is just to look at the most visible part of a tree is the stem. So trees have that strong stem. And I want to liken this stem to character. You know, character is actually what makes your actions, your attitudes visible to people around you. So trees have strong stems, okay? Your character is what upholds you. It's what upholds who you are and what your fruits are. Because as you can see, branches and fruits and leaves come from the stem. So, if your character is good, okay, your life will be more productive, will be more fruitful. Your fruits will be more enduring and sweet. So character, it plays a key in that it's the just like the roots is the foundation of the whole tree, okay? The stem is the foundation of the branches, the leaves, and the fruits. We need to invest in developing strong character in our lives. If you want to see better products coming out of us, that is good fruits. If you want to see better marriages, if you want to see better friendships and relationships, if you want to be productive at work, it's character. Everything is centered on character. So we need to keep that area of our lives very strong. And also it is the stem that determines the height of the tree. If you haven't developed your character, you cannot go far in life. So character determines your achievement. Let's invest in it. You know, we usually talk about retreats, reading, having mentors. Yeah. And these lessons are not about individuals, to us as individual people. It's about families. As a head of a family, look at your family as a tree. What is the foundation, the roots? Examine the roots. Are they strong enough? Examine the stem of your children, of everyone around you. Is it strong enough? Then guess what? You don't have to worry about what will come out of the leaves and the fruits. Once you settle those two, everything falls in place. John is saying, I like the point of the different types of trees. We need to learn to understand ourselves so that we live our lives to the full and stop comparing ourselves. A mango tree cannot compete with an oak tree. Wow. Because they have different purposes. Exactly. June, we always flow. That's why I like you here. So a tomato tree cannot compete with an oak tree. They have different purposes. Us trying to look at other people, oh, she's dressing in green. Let me go to the shop and buy a green dress. She's dressed, she has jewelry. Let me, hey. Okay. It's not about dressing and all that, but it's in things we do and everything in life. We should not compare. A tree, I think, haven't I? I haven't come to that to that point yet. But a tree stands out strong, unique. It celebrates its uniqueness. No competition at all. Okay, let's move on. Another lesson about life that we can get from trees or nature is each year, okay, studies have shown that each year a tree adds a new ring, on the stem. Outside this, within the structure of the stem, it adds a new layer. In that, if they want to find out the age of a tree, they have to count those rings. So the age of a tree is determined by the number of rings. So each layer, it achieves a new ring. There's a lesson there. We should strive to add a new layer of achievement each year. If every year passes there, you celebrate Christmas and New Year's, fireworks and all, you enter another year, the same thing happens, nothing much has happened anyway. You celebrate Christmas and New Year and fireworks, you go into another year. The only thing that's changing is age. But what about impact? What about products? Let's achieve something new each year. It can be a skill. You can set a new goal, okay? Maybe you reached 10 people last year. This time, reach another group. Set another target. Maybe you, I don't know. It depends on whatever that you set your heart to do. Let there be increase. Let each year mark an increase in your life. That's why we are still alive here. We're not here to waste space and time, but to make a contribution. So each year we can add new or better relationships, new goals, etc. Let us strive to add a new layer of achievement each year. Number 8. No matter how high trees can reach, they stay grounded. Wow. There's a lesson there. That no matter the height a tree can reaches, it remains grounded. The lesson here is when we try to reach greater heights of achievement, we need to remain connected to our roots. And what did you say roots represent? Our values, or even our source. Whatever supplies life to you is your source. Connected to God, connected to our values, being guided by our values in life. Okay, when you know that something is not of justice, is not of righteousness, it's not of love, you don't associate with that. Those are values. I hope you've got that point. That no matter how high they reach, trees stay grounded. Okay, number 9. This is the one I was waiting for. Trees are elegant and they stand up strong. That is confidence. They are not saying, oh, I have potential to grow, but let me stay down here and just shy because I'm intimidated, or people around me are also tall and all that. Oh, I'll be the tallest in this environment. No. It stands out strong, elegant, and bold. There's a lesson there. We need that self-confidence. We need to be confident of ourselves and of our capacities and of what we know, of what we believe. We need to stand for our values. We need to be proud of who we are in the positive sense. We need this in life because you can't achieve a lot when you don't believe in yourself. You can't achieve a lot when you believe you're an ant. You have to, at some point, you have to believe you're a giant. And that's what motivates you to go higher. So let's learn to stand out elegantly, strong and bold. And of who we are. Let us be proud of who we are and what we believe. Okay. Number 10. Be flexible. I've watched plants or trees whereby maybe there are strong winds, the weather has changed, climate is a bit, and these plants or trees, they are bending, okay, in submission to those strong winds. I've learned something there. I've said that trees can bend under strong winds. And the lesson here is we need to submit ourselves to authority. We all need to submit to another person at one point or the other. You can't say, oh, the wind is blowing. I'll stay up. Hey, you break. Sometimes it's easier for you to bend, to submit. And when the wind has passed, you go by. It hasn't changed you. It was just a temporary inconvenience. So sometimes we can be too proud in a negative sense to submit to people around us, to authority, to even our spouses, even to our wives if you're a man. Because everyone has a piece of wisdom. Everyone has a contribution. No one is lesser than the other. The scripture that says that let's submit one to another, to each other. It's not only husbands, wives submit to as some churches command. It's submitting to each other. So let us learn to be humble. Let us learn to tolerate some temporary inconveniences because they always come. We are in that fallen world, okay? And let us learn to adapt to changes. Let us learn to adapt to changing environment. So now if that strong winds have come and you're saying, for me I can't change it. For me this is what I believe. I will stay strong. I can't bend. Hey, you break. Learn to adapt. Learn to adapt. Because change is a factor of life. Change is inevitable. We all face those changes. Junha says, a tree needs to be nurtured from the time of putting down the seed. It needs to be watered, removing weeds, pruning, and at times it might be painful. It can take time, and maybe money, that's what you meant, before we have its fruit. So let us continually invest in our lives. That is so true. That as you're developing, you need to be removing weeds around you. You need to be pruning to get a better output. And then Sammy is saying, character is like a tree and reputation like a shadow. Oh, okay. Sammy is putting a quote here. Okay, I can't see it. Character is like a tree and reputation is like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of. The tree is the real thing. By Abraham Lincoln. Wow. Powerful. Powerful. Okay. Yeah, so we've been looking at learning to be flexible, just like trees are. And also, learning to be flexible, to adapt to changing circumstances and situations around us, and all that. Yeah. Yes. So let's move on. Another lesson we can pick is when you see a tree, it actually uses its environment very, very well. Okay? So it draws nourishment from all around it in order to survive. For example, the branches, it spreads its branches far and wide in order to spread out and reach out for that sunshine and the air, fresh air around it. And under the ground, it spreads or deepens its roots in order to tap into all those nutrients and water wherever it can find it. To the extent that I saw a picture of a desert and there was only one tree in that environment. And I said, how did this tree survive? Because there's no water body around there. Where is it getting water? Then I realized that this tree, in order for it to survive, it was the only green thing there. In order for it to survive, it must have developed its roots to be thousands of miles down there. It looks so fresh. And you couldn't believe that it's in the desert. Why? Because it's tapping nutrients, taking advantage of that environment down there in order to survive. Anyway, let us learn to, just like trees, let us be open to learn from other people around us. To embrace people, because everyone brings a contribution to us in one way or the other. So we should nurture healthy relationships with others, since they all add value to our lives. So you see, by the tree reaching out to the sky and also reaching out to the ground is developing good relationships with this environment. Such that even if the birds come and, take advantage of the tree, they put their nets there, guess what? Sometimes the tree can have pets on it. And those birds help to remove those pets by eating them. So every relationship is beneficial. Every relationship can be productive. Not every, let me correct myself, not every. So this is where we really need to be guided by our values, the roots, in order to know which relationship is healthy for me and not. So let us take advantage of our environments, wherever they are, because they all provide something that we can benefit from. Let us be curious, let us be researchers, let us not be contented by just living there. Say, oh, okay, these people, what can I learn from them? Oh, there's this seminar here, what can I pick from them? Oh, let me go and visit those people. Be curious in learning, and that's how we can also benefit from other people. Okay, and then another lesson, I'm coming to the end almost. Another lesson we can draw from trees is about life is accept and embrace each new season. Accept and embrace each new season. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to find the comments that I've missed. Sammy says, values are the foundation of a company. Culture is the manifestation of values, the day-to-day actions and behavior. Adapt tactical cultural behavior that helps you execute your values. By Christine Sai, I think. Don't know how to pronounce that. June says, when a tree has deep, strong roots, it is not intimidated by strong winds. Yes. It might bend to the ground, but will still be grounded. Yes. Perfect. When we are sure of our purpose and what we want to achieve in life, challenges will not intimidate or cause us to drift from our purpose. Very well said. You've helped me bring that point home, June. Thank you. Thank you. So those wins represent challenges in life. When we are rooted, when we know, are confident of our roots, we won't be moved. Sammy says a tree maximizes its environment. The roots are spread deep down and covers a distance horizontally, sometimes vertically. Yeah, because there are different types of roots. Let us take advantage of our environment. Learn, be curious, see what you can either add or change in your environment. Thank you, Sammy. That's perfect. Hello, Annette at Haire. Thanks for joining me this morning. Okay, let's move on. The lesson I was looking at is accept and embrace each new season of your life. Accept and embrace each new season of your life. And this is where I come in strong, especially with women. Okay, let's look at the tree. Trees go through different seasons. First is the rebirth or renewal, usually happening in the spring. Then there is growth, usually in the summer. Then there is letting go of things like the past, emotional baggage, etc. These are the shedding of leaves in the autumn. Okay? And then there's the resting stage in winter. That hibernation, when the leaves have gone and you think the plant is not growing, everything is static, you think everything is dead. No, they are resting. Trees are resting, especially in the parts of the world where there are 4 seasons. That's the example I'm giving now. Okay? Even the leaves, let's say the leaves, if it's time for them to fall off, they will not persist and say, "No, what? I won't fall. Let me stay here." Guess what? They will be released. They don't argue with season because everything has its own timing, perfect timing. Okay? So, everything is seasonal. Learn to know your season. Accept and embrace it because everything has its own perfect timing. Ladies, I'm attacking ladies. If it's a season of study at uni, maximize it. Don't mix it with other things that are not yet, it's not yet time for that. For example, you're at university and then you're engaging in all these relationships, sugar daddy, sugar mommy, whatever, just to get money. You are there to study first of all. Okay? Then getting money will come after that. Know your season. If you're mixing seasons, you'll not survive. You are bound to make mistakes and be frustrated in life. And then there's a time whereby, the season whereby we are all single, not yet married. Some people don't like that season. I don't know why. They abuse it, they pray against it, they bind and loose, and all that, fighting seasons. Embrace that season, maximize it. We shall soon release that book, The Benefits of a Single Life. You'll understand what I mean. That season is I don't know how to explain. How can I describe it? That season is the best gift you have. There's a lot you can do with that season. Instead of mourning, being discouraged, walking around depressed and all that, maximize that season. Get more insight from my book, How a Single Woman Can Overcome Stigmatization. I listed some insights in that area. So I think Sammy will help me put the link, and once you've read it, I would appreciate a review. Yeah, because it encourages other people to read it too. Yeah, so I give insight in how you can maximize that season of single life, but I'm planning to give even a bigger picture in another book. Yeah. So, let me see if I've missed. Okay, Sister Teresa says amen. Sammy says, I've learned how to adapt to different cultures and understand all different walks of life. I've also learned that confidence is key, even if you have to fake it at times. Fake it till you make it, as they say. Hello, Philip and Abioy. Thanks for joining me. Okay. So accepting and embracing our seasons is very key, because each season there's a particular thing you're supposed to do in that. Okay, so you cannot grow in the winter. You'll be struggling. So even identifying your season takes skill, takes you having a good connection with your core person, a good connection with your creator God, a good relationship with him, so that you have insight in what season you are in life. For example, when you're getting old, and then you say, you know what, I can't get old by force. Yeah? You go and change your hair. You go and change. You go plastic surgery to remove all the wrinkles. You go and use your money to do all this surgery. You know what? A time will come whereby no money can buy life. I'm not saying it's wrong to remain looking nice and fresh and all that. No, I'm just saying that there's a lot of struggle when we fight against seasons. There's wisdom in understanding and embracing your season. Okay. Okay. June is saying, a new trick learned. Fake it till you make it. Yes. That's another topic. Fake it till you make it. Okay, let's go on. Another lesson about that trees teach us about life is being generous, being a giver. These trees, you read about them, you'll be fascinated. You know, there are trees that their sap becomes gum, the glue that we use, and the gum and the rubber. Okay, then they provide oxygen that we need. Okay, food or fruits, whatever the case may be, shelter or shade from the heat, medicine, herbal and whatever medicinal properties that some trees have, timber to help us get structures and furniture, houses and all, etc. So the tree doesn't mind that, when they are cutting its branches for firewood, it will complain, I won't give you anymore, don't take my... No, it knows that, okay, let them take it. Another one will grow. That's why I'm here. Remember, we mentioned that a tree knows its purpose, and that is to serve. So giving is not a burden when you know your purpose of serving others. So the question to ask here, is your life productive? What products are you producing with your life that other people can benefit from? We're still in the beginning of the new year. That could be another goal for you. Is your life productive? Just like a tree is. Are you impacting lives with your gifts, talents, and time, or even your passion? See all the products that a tree can give us. Hello, Topsy Gift. How are you? Thanks for joining us. I want to read a comment here I've missed. Sammy says, trees accept new seasons and hibernate. As human beings, accept new seasons of your life. As human beings, let us accept new seasons of our life. Stop fighting seasons of your life. Some people look for every way to go past the single life. Get wisdom from tips. Okay, from the book that I wrote. Yeah, Topsy saying hello, Ma. Hello, Ma. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so another lesson we can learn from a tree is, okay, we've learned that a tree is a giver and is very generous. Yeah, that is it, because we always have people in need around us. And that is why God has given us things, so that we are a channel of blessings to others. Because if you always receive, and there's no outlet, you'll be constipated, as they call it. Okay, you need to let out some things. You need to impact life. You need to give. Another lesson is that even the strongest tree eventually falls down. Even the strongest of us is still a human being and can make mistakes. I think that's a lesson there. Yes, we can be strong and enduring in some situations, but you try to be working for 3 days without resting, without sleeping. You'll see what will happen. I've seen people who have collapsed under exhaustion because of lack of rest. Even the strongest tree eventually falls. We are not invincible. We should never be ashamed to cry before people. Yeah, it can be a sign of release. We should not be ashamed to ask for help because we can't do everything. We don't know everything. Some people are intimidated by asking questions. We should not be too proud to ask for forgiveness when we wrong others. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It actually has its own strength. So let us learn to be humble. That's another lesson we can learn from trees. That even the strongest tree eventually falls. So that causes us to understand that actually we're not here forever. Actually, we have weaknesses. It's okay to cry. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for forgiveness. It's okay to say, I'm sorry. All these are things that make us human, make life. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, then another lesson, which is the last one, is trees think generational. I don't know whether I've put that in the right words, but they are generational. Okay, let me explain it. Trees think generational. Every tree or every plant has a succession plan. They produce fruits that have seeds in them. And once these seeds are released to the ground, they have hope that that will be another, image of me in its own due season. So it doesn't matter when it goes old and can't stand anymore, or it's going to be exhausted. No. I have someone who continue my legacy. I have someone, those seeds around me that have shed, that will continue the purpose, the legacy I've started. Even in life, we as human beings, we need to have a succession plan. Who will take over that work that you have started? Begin to nurture people, begin to mentor people, begin to involve younger people around you, around your work, because that's life. We can't live forever, and we need that work to continue. So whatever we plan, we should always think at the back of mind, if I'm not here, what will happen? Because it's always wisdom to always think of what can happen and not just walk around life as if you live forever. That is part of planning. That is part of strategic planning and understanding that you'll not be around forever. So you need to prepare someone to carry on the work you have started. Have that succession plan in place. So that is why sometimes when I see organizations, maybe churches or things, and it's only one leader. It's only one leader or a president who is, is always there for many years, no succession plan, no mentoring. I begin to worry. The future begins to look sleek. So as Africa, as a continent, this is an area we really need to develop. Preparing the next generation for the future ahead. Making sure that we're leaving the place better for the next generation than leaving it in a mess. I think it also comes out of selfishness. If we don't have a succession plan, we think that, we are in control, so it's only us who know how to do this. No one else can lead the way I lead. That is why there's reproduction. That's why we give birth to children. Why? Because it's a sign that God is telling us, you know what, you won't live forever. So invest in that new baby to continue the work you've started. That's also a sign indicating that God had that succession plan in place. Queen Topsy Gift is saying, I hope every woman would wake up in this 2019 and look inward to see what she has been blessed with in order to be a blessing to humanity. Wow, that is so great. And also, yeah, please, I wish you had put a link to your book, because I'm sure there's so much there we can read in there and our viewers can find in your book about that point. I am a woman, I am human. I think that's the point. The book is still on my list, so I haven't read it yet, but I will read it. Okay, Sam is saying trees operate generationally. They have a succession plan. As human beings, whatever we do, we should have understanding that we won't be here forever, and we should put in place a succession plan. We should prepare a place better than we met it. Perfect. Thank you. So I think in my conclusion, I'll say that trees are great teachers. In fact, someone said that they have never seen any preacher like a tree. You have never seen any preacher like a tree. And these lessons are not only for us, as I said, but they are for societies, for families, for nations. If everyone can take lessons from a tree, we've learned a lot. We would learn a lot. So, lastly, I think any lesson we can learn from trees is that trees are teachers. So who is learning from you? That's a question to answer as an action plan this week. Who is learning from you? Okay, so I'll look at some comments. Topsy Gift is saying, women, please, you have more than you think you have. Yes. Please die empty. Perfect. And don't waste your life on mundane things. Thank you. And then June is saying, one mark of a true leader is found in his or her organization when he or she is no longer on post. Start preparing your successor the very day you get on post. Perfect. Thank you. So I think that's all I had today. Understanding life, picking lessons from trees. So yeah, as I said in the beginning, I'm fascinated by nature. And I always pick lessons there. I see, when I look at fish, when I go to the sea life, to the zoos and all that, I always look at things and pick from them because they're not there to waste space. Everything has something it can add to us. So I hope you have benefited from this talk. Please share on your timelines and we'll see you next week. Have a blessed weekend and God bless. Thanks for joining me this morning. Bye.